Well, okay, how did you two meet? How'd you meet each other?
Well, we went to the same country school.
Mm-hmm.
But
So you knew each other then?
About 6th, 7th grade, and I was 2 years younger. And we went to the same country school.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't fall in love then.
No. You knew each other for a while, though.
Yeah, we knew each other.
Okay, when you guys dated, what were some of the things that people did when they dated? You know, like, did they go to movies or...
Well, we didn't get to go to many movies.
No.
My dad didn't believe in movies, and
Uh-huh.
he didn't let us go too often. We'd go to house parties and barn dances.
Yeah, those were popular, weren't they?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's about all we did, I guess.
I see. Okay. Do you remember the first president that you voted for? You know, when you first got to vote, do you remember?
I think it was Franklin Roosevelt, wasn't it?
I voted Democrat all my life.
Did Franklin Roosevelt win that year
Oh, yeah.
when you voted?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In the 30 Depression.
Right. Okay.
We threw up a half section of land. That was the best thing we ever done in our life.
Okay, I want to know now about what you know, all the jobs. It was mostly farming for you two, right?
And after we threw it up, we rented it, then they made some money.
Okay.
What did you ask?
What you did for a living. Grandpa farmed, and Grandma stayed and you know, helped with the kids, right? But Grandpa also trucked. Grandpa, can you tell me about your trucking?
What?
When Grandpa was trucking, didn't he do that for a while too?
Well, he trucked before we were married already.
Okay.
And then when we got married, then we rented a 120-acre farm, and then he would do the trucking, and then I had help with chores.
Right. What did you all have out on the farm then, as for animals?
We
Pigs?
had cows and pigs,
Uh-huh.
and 2 mules and 2 horses.
Uh-huh.
See, them days they farmed with horses.
Right. Right.
And we had chickens.
I thought you had chickens too. Okay. Did you have any pets? Were there any dogs running around?
We didn't have any cats or dogs.
No cats or
When we
dogs.
moved on that rented farm, it was just full of rats.
Ooh. You needed cats out there then.
Once I shot in the chicken house, and I shot 5 rats with one bullet.
Gosh, that was a pretty good shot, Grandpa.
Well, they were all lined up around the water
Right.
tank, and so you could hit them easily.
I don't imagine the chickens like that, did they?
I don't suppose they did.
Grandpa, what'd you all farm? Corn, beans?
No, first we didn't have beans.
Didn't ya?
Just corn and oats.
Corn and oats.
And clover hay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the farm where Uncle Dick lives right now, right?
No. No, the
No.
first farm we lived was east of Remsen.
East of Remsen.
Okay.
20-acre bounty farm.
Okay. And then when did you go out to where Uncle Dick lives now?
Well, we farmed there 9 years, and then we moved up where Dick and Mary live now.
I bought my farm in 42. And I moved on it in 42, and in 45 I had it paid for.
Uh-huh. Those are the pretty good years, huh? Right.
Well, it was only $90 an acre.
95.
Yeah. Prices have changed a little bit, haven't they?
Well, now they pay that much for rent.
Right.
And her dad hung on to her farm in them Depression years.
Uh-huh.
And he got me a lot of debt the same year I paid for mine.
He paid a lot more per acre.
Right.
You know, that's the way it was.
I imagine, were most of your kids born on the farm?
Our kids?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
All of them were born on the farm.
Yeah.
Did you have a nurse come in and help you, Grandma?
No, not a real nurse. Except a nurse came with the doctor when he delivered them.
Uh-huh. But they were all born out on the farm.
But we just had a lady or a young girl even. Well, first two, my mother came and took care of me.
Uh-huh.
And then there were young girls around that would go out and take care of this mother and baby.
I see. Okay. Do you have any good stories to tell me about my dad? Now you can tell me about all the shenanigans he pulled.
Well, I can only
Or any of them?
remember, the time he poured some used car oil over, that was Gerald. Poured some used car oil over Dick's head.
Why? Were they fighting?
Over Dick's head. And then I can see them two coming yet. And Gerald had brought him in, and that oil had come over his face, and he had a union all, cover all.
Right.
And that was awful. It took me hours to clean him up.
Why did he do that?
Well, he didn't do it on purpose, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But, on that farm had a coal shed. And in that coal shed was this can of used oil. And how come he poured it over Dick? But I think it was maybe an accident, that he